Summer is here, and mosquitoes are back to cause trouble for people. I don't know if you have noticed that there are fewer mosquitoes where there are dragonflies. I remember when I was a kid, during summer vacation, the reeds along the river were filled with dragonflies of distinctive colors. In the evening, dragonflies would gather together and fly low, their wings shining golden in the afterglow of the setting sun, which is one of the most beautiful memories of our childhood. I don't know when it started, but there are fewer and fewer dragonflies, but more and more mosquitoes. Some children living in cities have never even seen it. Welcome to Cryptic Creature. Press the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Why are dragonflies gradually disappearing? Don't underestimate these tiny insects, they have a great origin. Dragonflies are the first pilots on Earth. Biologists call it the ancestor of flight. The English name of dragonfly is dragonfly, which means little flying dragon. The name is mainly to highlight their three characteristics. First of all, dragonflies, like dinosaurs, are very ancient and mysterious creatures. Secondly, they are very ferocious predators in the microscopic world. Furthermore, their flying stunts are almost unmatched on Earth. In biological classification, dragonflies belong to the order Odonata, order Arthropoda, and order Insecta. There are three subfamily members under the order Odonata, namely the forked-winged subfamily, the royal-winged subfamily, and the pointed-winged subfamily. It looks very professional on the surface, but it is actually very easy to understand. Forked wings means that the front and back pairs of wings are very different. This subfamily is the dragonfly we see most often. Junchi means that the two pairs of wings in front and back are basically the same. The ancients called it onion, and its common name is damselfly. The sharp-winged submother is between the two. It is the descendant of ancient fungi and is known as a living fossil. So far, a total of 3 species of rat have been discovered, which are only distributed in China, Japan, and India. There are nearly 6,000 species of Odonata worldwide, with more than 700 species recorded in China alone. They all have a common ancestor, the ancient giant dragonfly. From the fossils found in the Carboniferous period, it can be seen that the ancient giant dragonfly was very large, with a wingspan of 71 centimeters, almost the same as a small bird of prey. By the Permian period 2.51 years ago, with the continuous decline in oxygen concentration, the huge deep-sea maggots gradually became a burden, and pterosaurs that dominated the sky appeared one after another. The ancient giant dragonflies have their most deadly natural enemy, leaving them with only 2 options: evolve or perish. In order to adapt to the environment, the giant dragonfly's body size became smaller and smaller, but its body structure and appearance characteristics remained almost unchanged. This can be seen from the fossils. To this day, the most common descendants of the ancient giant dragonfly are dragonflies and fighting dragonflies. So what are the differences and similarities between them? First of all, as members of the insect tank, both belong to the same lineage and have roughly the same basic body structure. The body is divided into 3 parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. The head can rotate flexibly and has large abdominal eyes. There are 3 pairs of legs on the chest with spines at the ends, which are used to catch prey. There are 2 pairs of wings on the back. The wings are transparent and thin, with fine veins distributed, just like the steel bars in concrete, which can provide structural support and strength for the wings. Their abdomens all show obvious decomposition, like bamboo. At first glance, dragonfly and fighting girl seem to be the same, and many friends have never even heard of the name fighting girl. But upon closer inspection, there are actually significant differences between the two. The dragonfly's ventral eyes are larger and more tightly connected, with only a dividing line in the middle, while the 2 eyeballs of the beetle are shaped like dumbbells and are farther apart. Dragonflies have thick chests that contain very developed flight muscles. Its flying ability is far superior to that of a beetle. It is hard to imagine that a tiny insect can grow muscle texture similar to that of a mammal. The shapes of a dragonfly's front and rear wings are very different. The wing muscles of the front wings are very thin and gradually extend toward the wingtip. The hind wings are just the opposite, with very broad wing muscles that gradually narrow toward the wingtip. The shapes of the front and rear wings of the fighting girl are almost the same. Dragonflies spread their wings out on either side of their bodies when perched, while beetles usually fold their wings over their backs. Some fighting girls will open and close their wings like breathing. Furthermore, the abdomen of a dragonfly is relatively flat and thick, while that of a beetle is relatively thin and round and stick-shaped. Although the dragonfly is small, it has an ingenious structure. This is also the capital that enables them to fly freely in the air. Dragonflies are true masters of flight. They can hover like hummingbirds, fly backwards, or suddenly turn around and make sharp turns. All these flying stunts rely on the 4 precisely structured neck wings. When a dragonfly flies in the air, its 4 wings can be twisted into different angles, facing the airflow in this oblique upward manner, which can produce a magical cyclone effect. The rotating airflow not only increases the speed, but also generates strong lift, which can maximize the flight efficiency. The complex wing veins form a pleated structure that conforms to the most perfect aerodynamics. Scientists use smoke to reveal the flight paths of dragonflies and found that their 4 wings seem to have independent thoughts of their own. Sometimes the front and back wings can flap in sync, and sometimes they flap in opposite directions, allowing them to operate independently or collaborate with each other. Scientists developed the dragonfly aircraft through bionic technology, trying their best to imitate the natural flight of dragonflies. Although the control system is already very precise, the flying ability of the robot dragonfly is still not comparable to that of the original one. A dragonfly only needs a pinprick of brain to control its flight, whereas a machine requires a belly full of electronic parts. Dragonflies are masters of flight, while damselflies reproduce in a soap opera. This is a star-spotted damselfly. In early summer, competition between males is extremely fierce. The males are bright blue, while the females are a pale gray. Once a male spots a female, he'll pounce and go straight for her. Any ceremony and prelude seems superfluous. In their world, one must seize the initiative to find a partner. The male uses an organ at the end of his tail to tightly clamp the female's neck, but the female's mating organ is also at the end of her tail. Mating is simply not possible in this position. Fortunately, males have another reproductive system located at the junction of the chest and abdomen, which is used to store genetic material. Next, the young married couple will perform a difficult acrobatic joint move. The female must lift her tail upwards, and the male must do his best to help her, pushing it up like a swing until the male and female become one, forming a beautiful heart. I have to say, this couple is really romantic. At such a wonderful moment, the male has other important things to do. There is a pair of hooks in his sack, which can dig out the genetic material left by the female's ex-boyfriend and throw it away, thus ensuring that the female produces her own offspring. The male wants to quickly drag his partner to lay eggs before it changes sex. However, the female seemed not to have had enough fun. Even though the male was going at full speed, she remained indifferent. Under the thorns, the male bit it. The sweet love is a thing of the past, and the female feels resentful. Domestic violence can indeed lead to life-changing relationships. For females, the last thing they lack is suitors. Soon a third party intervened. In order to force the couple to separate, it bit the male's tail and quickly clamped the female and ran away, leaving the domestic violence man behind and becoming a single dog in an instant. The reproduction method of dragonflies is similar. After mating, the male and female go their separate ways. The female puts the tip of her tail underwater and lays eggs on the water plants. The dragonfly's egg-laying behavior soon attracted the protest of damselflies, which would collectively harass and obstruct it, and the bold ones would even pounce on it and bite it. Dragonflies sometimes prey on damselflies, but why do damselflies risk their lives to fight them? The answer lies beneath the water's surface. These scary-looking insects, also known as water vegetables, hatch from dragonfly eggs. Like its parents, Mizuna has large ventral eyes that can focus like human eyes, producing three-dimensional vision and accurately judging the distance between it and its prey. Mizuna has 3 forked tail leaves that can be used for breathing. The tail leaf of damselfly insects is larger than that of dragonfly insects, but their body size is much smaller. In nature, body size often determines whether to eat or be eaten. Dragonflies approach insects silently, just for a lightning strike, which allows them to eject their narrow and sharp jaws. Watch it and don't blink. Long-range attacks are indeed hard to defend against, and the damselfly was eaten alive. This is why the damselfly prevented the dragonfly from entangled with it. Dragonflies not only hunt their close relatives, but also capture a variety of water insects, such as these tiny plankton. Water lions hiding in the water plants are also one of the food items, as well as the most annoying mosquito larvae. If you are lucky, you can catch soft and juicy tadpoles. Even larger fish will have difficulty breaking free once they are bitten. Dragonflies live underwater for 2 to 3 years, and some even up to 5 years. Their survival is highly dependent on clean water. When water bodies are polluted, dragonflies will become fewer and fewer. After 8 to 16 moltings, the dragonflies gradually develop fully and then crawl out of the water. Like a cicada, it opens a crack in its back and slowly breaks free from its shell. The adult is very fragile at this point and needs several hours to draw body fluid into its wings to stretch them. During this period, the exoskeleton will gradually harden. When everything is ready, just shake the aircraft gently. Without any practice, you can transform into an immortal and fly into the sky. Dragonflies are more powerful than tigers, and they can catch prey more easily. Among them, mosquitoes and flies are their favorites. In addition, ferocious wasps, beautiful butterflies, and even your own kind are on the menu. The dragonfly's 3 pairs of legs are all equipped with spines that can hold its prey tightly and prevent it from escaping. Like the praying mantis, their jaws are very sharp and are ideal for cutting minced meat. Imagine if they were as big as their ancient ancestors, the ranking of sky overlords would probably have to be rewritten. However, there are no ifs in history. Under the law of the jungle, being small means being inferior food. In the eyes of all kinds of powerful people, dragonflies are the protein of flying. First of all, the spider's big web is designed for flying insects. The larger the dragonfly's wings, the stronger the adhesion. For spiders, this is much more enjoyable than for mosquitoes and flies. No matter how good they are at flying in the air and diving into the water, a single sip of venom can paralyze them. Being caught by a mantis means death, as both sides are an order of magnitude behind each other in terms of size and strength. Sometimes the wind foxbird wants to change its taste and also use dragonflies to mess around. The most pathetic thing is that sometimes they are actually digested by plants. The leaves of this insect trap secrete a sticky substance that can easily catch small insects. The damselfly originally wanted to take advantage of the situation, but she never expected that she would get herself involved. Some macaques also use the same technique to capture damselflies. The more the prey struggles, the more mucus is secreted. The damselfly tries to swallow the slime, but this only speeds up the dissolution of its own internal organs. Because dragonflies live too close to water, they are inevitably swallowed by large fish. If you accidentally fall into the water and cannot take off, the ripples created will quickly attract water and rice. Commonly known as water spiders, these masters of aquatic martial arts can pierce their prey's bodies with sharp stingers, inject digestive enzymes like a spider, and finally suck up delicious nutrient fluids. In autumn, the life of dragonflies enters the countdown. They wither and fade into the earth like fallen leaves, and their offspring will continue to write a new life legend in the frozen lake.